Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Masterworks. My name is Jason Meyer, and tonight I thought we might look at some of the eye candy of David Leffel. He had a show out here in California in 2016, a retrospective show at the Pepperdine Museum that I got to see several times and take a tour group from Morro Bay. We got a bus and went down there, so that was fun. Anyway, we've got some close-ups of those, so I thought it might be a good time to go through some of that and just check it out, those close-ups. So this was, what, 2016, 5 years ago? So my iPhone wasn't quite as rad as it was then, and I didn't quite have the photographic skills as I do now. Not that I have much now. So some things are slightly overexposed and things, but you still get an idea. And sometimes I would take it at an angle if I had to do that to get the glare off of it. Okay, so these are not professionally shot, but what I'm hoping is that the way I took the pictures with the close-ups, we can stick our nose in some of this and see what is happening with it. So that is the show, and why don't we get started? Why don't I set myself a little reminder here, because I have been known to get lost in paintings before, just so that this isn't a 3-hour show. 25 minutes, that sounds like good, and let's just go. Okay, so we're gonna do-si-do, switcheroo, and for the very first one here, some people have heard me tell the story about going down to the Gene Autry Museum to see a David Lafell, and I studying and studying. I kept getting frustrated because I couldn't focus where I was trying to focus. Well, this is the work right here. And that story's too long for right now, but this is the work. And again, what I want tonight to be about is to really stick our nose in here. Has he just randomly painted a bunch of flowers sticking out of here? Is it really completely random? No. It kind of all goes off of this point. It's radial. Look at that strong line up here. The flower stops it. Right? Versus this is leaf, leaf, leaf. So look at the nature of like that run versus the nature of that run. So that's variety. And then over here, kind of da 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 da. But that continues straight up from the highlight. So it's a continuation of other movements in there. This floored me when I first saw it in person. Look at that. Now, how's that for some interesting paint? Right? When you stand from afar, David Leffel can be deceiving in that people think, oh, he's just copying what... Trust me, there is absolutely no copying here. Right? There's creating. We've been talking about openness. You see how there's kind of some openness where you can get in and out there. We're closed down here, but look, there's a little openness right here too, isn't there? You know, with something like this, what are you supposed to say? How does that white fall off as it falls over the table? I really hope you guys can see what's happening here. So this is just a small fraction of this overall painting, right? What we just looked at was right here. And then the other part we looked at was this right here. And I didn't have one of this overall. I had it in a book, so I thought, what do I need my own photo of it? I kind of wish I had so I could show you guys. You might have seen this. So this is going to be a close-up. This is a self-portrait of him, and he's holding a paintbrush, obviously. Janny. Miss Janny. Hi, Miss Janny. Not a lot of words tonight. Not a lot of words tonight. I think we're just gonna look. Just look, right? We're gonna be looking at where they have the openness. Right, we've been talking about what clarity is. We've talked about how white is clarity. See how just to highlight the edge of that thumbnail, highlight at the tip, because there's no line there, right? The highlight's the only line right there. Anyway, there's a million things we could talk about, but I think sometimes it's just good to have a good look. Just have a really good look. Miss Claudia, were you not at this show with us? Did you go to Pepperdine with us? I thought you did. I know Raymond was there. I thought you went with us too. This is from the Pepperdine show. Look at that, 2016, July. So it was kind of hard because the camera doesn't like to take both the highlight and the lower end. And so sometimes I would have to let things be overexposed or something to get a truer read on some of these other parts. Yes, it was wonderful. It was fun. I think there may be a little photo of Raymond here coming up. We'll see. Of Raymond in the crowd. There's the mouth of that same portrait there. Can you see blanched? Can you see richness? Can you see grayness? Warmth? Thick paint, thin paint? And then here I exposed the photo more for the highlight, but you see how dark the dark went. And that's what I mean, the different. With what I had to work with and my skill level, it's what we've got. But look. So sometimes I talk about walking off the paint from thicker in the center to thinner as it goes out. You see how this spot is held by the center. It's not held by the edges, but it's held in the center, in the middle. So this is an idea I'd like to explore. And then let's look at how these things are released, only to rise again to the center, and then it's released. So that same idea of emerging and dissolving, emergence and dissolution. So this is photos from a retrospective of David Leffel in Malibu from 2016. And so we've got some close-ups here that I was able to take before my photo skills were sharpened and my equipment was upgraded. But I still think you can, right, see the rise and the fall. Look at the rise and the fall from the deep of that shadow in the corner of the eye, across the eye, and then out of the eye to that highlight. Can you follow the build of the thickness of the paint? The literal build up of the paint. Right, so this stuff, it's two-dimensional. It's right next to one another. But even this close, the illusion of 3 dimensions is there. Can you follow out of here? And then look, we're right. And look how the paint quality builds. And the paint quality releases. And the paint quality builds and releases. Builds and release. So anytime it's going towards a build, I would call that more. And then when it's moving off of a more to dissolve, I would call this a less. So one of the ways, and I think maybe the best way to read a David Leffel, if you're trying to understand it, is that idea of more to less. Do we talk about hard edges where things start and soft edges as it turns, and then a hard edge where it stops? Yeah, right. That's why there's structure right here. Hard, soft, hard, highlight off the edge to get you into the middle. Now your highlight doesn't always have to be over the moon. Right? We can kiss the baby. We can kiss the baby. Right? We can be gentle. Can you get a sense of the color versus the gray? Color, gray, right? Blanched color, highlight, color, gray, gray. So we've talked, I think it was Monday, about how some blue water was so blue because it was surrounded by this warm. Well, notice how this is so colorful, partly because it's surrounded by these more neutrals. I hope as we go through these again, you guys are able to see more and more and more. Wow, amazing, right? It's a little eye candy here. That build really is almost, yeah. It's sculptural painting, right? And it's a build, and the build is that when something is lit up with the thicker paint, the paint will literally catch the light that's lighting the painting, right? And so that paint will have a highlight of its own and a shadow of its own. Right in here, you see there's like a high, and then look, there's a little, that's a ridge. That's a ridge. You see, that's a ridge of the paint. So, boom. And then that combined, so just combining all of it with these soft releases. Again, we're in the middle. We're in the middle. Am I yelling? Am I yelling? Can you tell I get a little excited about these? Can you tell? How about that fall off from that near cheek to the far cheek? From the near cheek to the far cheek. Are you guys able to get that much space on your faces? Right? Are you able to send them through the Alps, through the Sierras, through the Rockies? Right? Sculptural, topographical. Look how this light right here helps carve out that nose. Yeah, I'm going over that a lot because, man, if I could have seen that 15 years ago. We've talked sometimes about how a nose might release right here. Look how we have a hard edge, an open edge, and then it's a little bit harder as we close down here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So is this the same paint? This might be the same painting, and you can see here that the highlights blanched out, so I could look at more of those midtones. All right, look at all of that there. How convincing is the illusion that something's going on there? Right, if we could... There's nothing there, guys. Where does that eye start and stop? Right, he is a great one to learn about this inside out idea that we're talking about. Right, this inside out, that more to less. By the way, there's not a lot of hard lines here, are there? But what is there? What is there? You see how active the paint is, not bum, line. Look, that paint literally dances. It stands up, it sits down, it takes a nap, it goes crazy, it takes a walk. Right? And you can really see, even though the highlight's overexposed, you can really see the build of the paint. Now versus... there's nothing here. You can even see that from here. So look how different the paint in the shadow is from the paint in the light. You see how he's able to use that texture to great effect. Great effect. It's all there, even though it's not spelled out. Yeah, we've been talking about innuendo and stuff, and this is, again, if we think about the center out, look where you're really held here. Do you guys see that? Look, that hard edge. We're held the tightest here, but did you even really notice that spot? No, because the quote-unquote details right here. But guys, can you see that the structure that holds this all together is right there? You know, he's one of these guys, the longer you look at him, you know, the more delighted you're going to get, or the more pissed off you're going to be, or, you know, whatever it is, because even as you understand what he's doing, it just gets better and better and better and better. Right? It's just so beautiful, the poetry of paint. So this was a little piece that was in the show. It was like a 9x12, an 8x14, something like this. And a student at the time, her and her husband picked this one up. So we were fortunate enough to have this in Tom's studio a couple of times, hanging on the wall. And man, oof, what a painting. It's little bitty, but it packs a punch. You know, we've been talking about the beginning of still lifes and getting up to the subject matter. Look at what a journey. He's not only taking you from the dark, but he's gone dark into a little light, and then back through the dark and out to the light. And then all of this is color, yeah, but it's also mid-tone. And then the light builds, and then he goes to a gray lighter before we get to color and dark. Oh my gosh, right? We need a nap after that journey. We need a nap after that. So, guys, you got to do more than one piece of paint when you're painting a leaf. Right? You think he hit that once and called it a day? All right, I know how to paint leaves. Let me show you. Let me show you. I was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 distinct colors that I can see right here, and then a different quantities. Again, where is it open? Where is it open? Where is it and where does it close down? From a lot of you, I've been asking you guys to be more descriptive and less descriptive. Less descriptive. More descriptive. So near to far, right? Even in the little journey of a leaf, you can say a lot. And look how he's run. We have 1 leaf, 2 leaves, 3 leaves, 4, 5. So maybe there's 5 leaves here, but you see how he's run them together to a single note? And then he's tied it in with those notes. So no one thing is standing just for itself. Yeah, how would you like to have that kind of freedom? Wendy, that's right. Wendy says this one is eye candy indeed. Yeah, when you stick your nose into these, it's really hard to believe. Because they look like industrial accidents. And, yeah, but it's the orchestration. The orchestration of the concept. Again, we got to have this in Tom's studio. You know, just hanging out, looking at it for a while. Guys, do you know what you're looking? This is the end of the painting. This is the end of the painting. Let me ask you something. And I know I'm getting loud, but this is the end of the painting. Do your paintings end like this? I sure the hell would like my paintings to end like that. Holy moly. Huh? Holy cannoli, what the holy heck? Right, but even when it's at a level where you might not even understand it, what a beautiful ride we're on. It's like faster, faster, more, more. Yes, yes, yes. Don't forget this near to far. Look how he builds and releases, and we go through, and just in all these ways he uses silhouette in front of light. Look how this dark versus this background. Right? We got silhouette, we got color, we got gray. We've got it all. We've got it all. Stunning. We'll have to see if we have a special occasion. If I can't call her up willing, I don't know. We'll have to see. This is quite a little investment here, so it's not like just, hey, can we borrow a cup of sugar? Anyway, how are we doing? All right, we're gonna wrap up. Oh, look, 10 seconds before the alarm goes off. All right, so let's just flip through here so you can see some more before we end. So we're gonna go through here on this one. We're gonna see this piece here. We're gonna take a look at this area. I believe we got some of this area. So we've got some different parts of this. Look, and this is a little Rembrandt painting he's got down. So yeah, let me just, oh yeah, I did a painting, and then here I put a little Rembrandt down there, just, you know, for a little something extra. Just for a little something extra. But even a simplified Rembrandt painting, he was very delicate with the weight of everything. You don't get this effect by accident, right? Even this little study has glowing light in it. So I hope I don't have to tell you guys how beautiful this is. I don't think I do. But I mean, these really are just beyond the pale. Speaking of pales and beyond, wait a minute. How did we get, here we go. We got a little too zoomed in, there we go. Look, we got silhouette, we got color. Look how he's floated. There we go. Look how he's floated this little stuff on top. In just the right measure. That orange doesn't stop there. Look how it spills out, spills out, spills out. Repeated. Even repeated up there. A little non-color, anybody? A little non-color? Paging non-color. Non-color. Can I have a non-color? Anybody? A non-color? Oof. There's the top of the bucket. But it's not, look, this is next to nothing. This is then quiet. So it's always something versus nothing, right? These are so brilliant because this is so quiet, because that background is so quiet. This is glare, by the way, if you can't tell. Oh my gosh. Guys, can you see this? Are you seeing this? A little vagueness, anybody? A little vagueness? The book is right. Yeah, I gotta be careful. I don't want to be drooling over myself, but I'm a little teenage girl in front of these things. I'm not kidding. It just, I hope, but you know, after you've been painting a little while, Guys, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Something, nothing. Something, nothing. The rest between the notes are so important. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. I could do this for weeks, and maybe we'll have to at some time, but I hope you enjoyed this evening. It's been fun. It's been fun to me, and yeah, I'm glad you feel the joy. So they are. I mean, it's the games you can play with colored mud. I mean, this is just mud with earth, with a little oil in it. And the things you can create out of that are just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. All right, everybody. I hope that inspired you, blew your mind, made you laugh, made you cry, made you mad. Whatever. I just hope it moved you. I hope, as you can see, it moves me. So I'm glad you enjoyed the trip. And good to be back here on YouTube after a little mishap this morning. This morning's happened on Facebook by accident. But I should be back in the morning right here on YouTube if I press the right buttons. And we'll see you guys for morning jump start in the morning on YouTube, and then Facebook tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for Sketch Club. Good night, everybody. Lots of love to everybody.